Let's be honest for a second. We are used to seeing Anderson Cooper as the cool, collected anchor of CNN. He's the guy in the suit, standing in the eye of the storm, literally and metaphorically, delivering the news with a stoic grace that makes us feel safe. But recently, the armor cracked, and it was beautiful. In a moment that has since rippled across the internet and touched the hearts of millions, the 58-year-old journalist completely broke down during a live taping of his podcast, All There Is. He wasn't reporting on a war or a political scandal. He was talking about something much more terrifying and much more universal: the mystery of where the people we love go when they die. If you have ever lost someone and found yourself looking for signs, talking to the empty air, or just refusing to accept that gone means gone, you need to hear this story. The word that changed everything, allegedly. Anderson sat down with Megan Fowley to discuss the passing of her spouse, the brilliant poet and activist Andrea Gibson, who tragically died in July at age 49 after a battle with ovarian cancer. Usually, interviews about grief follow a script. We talk about sadness, we talk about memory, we talk about moving on. But Megan Fowley flipped the script entirely with one single word. You use the word allegedly when you talk about Andrea's death, Anderson noted during the virtual conversation, which I kind of love. Think about that for a second, allegedly. It's a word usually reserved for courtrooms and crime dramas, but Fowley uses it to defy the finality of death. It felt so weird to talk with such certainty, to say Andrea died as if any of us know what that means. Fowley explained to Anderson. Her voice wasn't shaking, it was resolute. We actually don't know what it means. I don't think. I had felt so many, sort of, signs and communications that it just didn't feel right, and it still doesn't to say Andrea died, so I love saying that Andrea allegedly died. This is where the conversation shifted from a standard interview to a spiritual revelation. Fowley went on to explain, to my limited understanding of a body and a spirit, language is very important to me, so I feel like if something's not quite right, I'm going to make whatever adjustments I need. Anderson's emotional breakthrough. It was at this moment that the Anderson Cooper we know from the news melted away, and simply Anderson, the son, the brother, the father, remained. As Fowley spoke about the limitations of our understanding of death, Anderson became visibly overwhelmed. He didn't try to hide it. He took off his glasses, a gesture that somehow felt incredibly vulnerable, and wiped tears from his eyes. He didn't apologize for the emotion, he embraced it. I'm crying because what you said is so unique and, I think, true, Anderson said, his voice thick with emotion. Yeah, we have no idea what this means. It was a massive moment of validation for anyone watching. How often are we told to accept reality, to face facts? Here was one of the most factual men on television admitting that when it comes to the soul, we really don't know anything. And in that not knowing, there is hope. A love story that defies the end. To understand why this conversation was so charged, you have to understand the people involved. Andrea Gibson wasn't just a statistic, they were a force of nature. Gibson and Fowley's love story is the subject of the documentary film Come See Me in the Good Light, which recently won the Festival Favorite Award at the Sundance Film Festival. The film chronicles their relationship amidst Gibson's health struggles, painting a portrait of love that refuses to be dimmed by a terminal diagnosis. When Fowley says Andrea allegedly died, it isn't denial. It's a testament to a connection so strong that the dropping of a physical body feels like a mere technicality. It's a refusal to speak about a vibrant spirit in the past tense. The ghost in the room, Anderson's history of loss. Why did this hit Anderson so hard? To answer that, we have to look at the road he's walked. Anderson Cooper is basically a walking masterclass in surviving grief. His life has been punctuated by losses that would crush most people. The father. When Anderson was just 10 years old, his father, the writer Wyatt Cooper, died unexpectedly during open-heart surgery. He was only 50. Anderson has spoken about how this loss froze a part of him in childhood, a wound that never fully closed. The brother. 10 years later, tragedy struck again. In 1988, his older brother Carter died by suicide at the age of 23. Jumping from the terrace of their mother's New York City apartment. The mother. In 2019, his mother, the legendary Gloria Vanderbilt, passed away at 95. For decades, Anderson was the stoic survivor. He pushed the grief down. He kept working. He kept moving. But something changed recently, and that change has a name. Two names, actually, Wyatt and Sebastian. Breaking the cycle for his sons. In 2022, Anderson opened up about why he started his podcast, All There Is, which explores loss and grief. It wasn't just for the audience, it was for his kids. Becoming a father to his sons, Wyatt, 5, and Sebastian, 3, whom he co-parents with his ex, Benjamin Maisani, cracked him open. He realized he couldn't be the father he wanted to be if he was still carrying the silent, heavy baggage of his past. I don't want to pass along to my kids any of my own failures or limitations, Cooper said back in 2022. I want to be the best parent I can be, and I realized that the way I dealt with loss was effective for the time that it occurred, but that stuff catches up with you. You have to face it at some point. That is what we saw in this interview with Megan Foley. We saw a man who is finally facing it. Why this matters to us. We live in a culture that is terrible at death. We treat it like a failure or a wall. We use hushed tones. We try to fix people who are grieving. Megan Foley's concept of alleged death and Anderson Cooper's tears offer us a different path. They remind us that it is okay to be confused. It is okay to feel like the person you lost is still in the room with you. It is okay to reject the rigidity of language when it fails to capture the size of your love. Maybe Foley is right. Maybe died is too small a word for what happens to the human spirit. Maybe we are all just allegedly here and allegedly gone, and the love is the only thing that is actually concrete. Seeing Anderson Cooper, a man who has seen the hardest parts of the world, take off his glasses and cry over this beautiful idea gives us all permission to do the same. It gives us permission to hope that maybe, just maybe, death isn't the end of the conversation. So, the next time you miss someone so much it hurts, remember this interview. Remember that nobody, not the poets, not the scientists, and not even the news anchors, knows what comes next. And in that mystery, anything is possible. Even the possibility that they are still right there with you.